Hi, friends.
Or maybe we should say hola amigos, because we are here at Six Flags Mexico.
Woo! And let me tell you, this place has been on my bucket list for a long time. So I'm so glad to be here. And first impressions are this park is gorgeous.
Yeah, so far we've just seen the entry plaza, but already it has made quite an impact. There are really beautiful, colorful buildings. There's tons of trees. It looks really great.
Six Flags Mexico opened back in 1982 as a family park. Its #1 attraction at the time was an orca whale named Pico, better known as Free Willy.
Wow.
But then in 1999, Premier Parks acquired it, turned it into a Six Flags, and here we are today, a full-fledged Six Flags theme park with 9 coasters, and I, for one, can't wait to ride them.
Yeah, let's go do it.
I'm sure the park looks this amazing all the time, but we are here during the special spring celebration. So we're gonna attend a parade, and then there's a nighttime fireworks spectacular as well. Some more entertainment throughout the day. I can't wait to show it off.
I promise we're going to stop harping on about it, but it just has to be said that this park is so beautiful. Like no other Six Flags park I have ever been to. This is very impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, we have just spent 30 minutes walking around the entry plaza going, look at that, look at that. It's just like gorgeous landscaping everywhere, great architecture, and we haven't even got to the rides yet. I said that we hadn't gotten to the rides yet, but actually right at the end of the entry plaza, here we are at Superman El Último Escape, which is the tallest roller coaster in Mexico. It is a 2004 Morgan hypercoaster. It's 220 feet tall with a 205-foot 60-degree drop. At the bottom, I think we're gonna reach up to 75 miles per hour. And this is actually Morgan's final hypercoaster. We love Morgan hypercoasters and think they're underrated, so I'm so excited.
A couple of years ago, we were at Valley Fair, and I got to ride my very first Morgan Hyper, Wild Thing. And that thing really took us by surprise. I was not anticipating it to have so much airtime. It was really fantastic, and I'm very excited to ride another one.
Okay, so admittedly, I probably should have brushed up on my Spanish before we came to Mexico, but I'm pretty sure that says Daily Planet. We escaped!
We sure did, and that was so much fun.
Oh, so fun. That first drop, I mean, on any hypercoaster, but a Morgan hypercoaster especially, since the restraints stay locked in place,
Yes.
which I love. You know, love me some Magnum XL 200, but you hit the bottom of that first drop and that lap bar crushes you. That does not happen on Superman or any of the Morgan hypers. And then there's a fun tunnel right at the bottom of the first drop that really enhances the sense of speed. And then you are thrust in immediately into, which I didn't realize, essentially let's call it a spaghetti bowl section.
Yeah.
You like go up the second hill and then immediately dive to the left. That second drop was all right, but what comes next is this super tight, like almost inclined loop. But as you're being pulled out of the top of, I guess, that inclined helix, you really feel some positive and lateral G's hitting you all at once. And that's the moment that I was like, wow, this is a really special coaster.
And all those airtime moments on the way back to the station, it actually really reminded me of Wild Thing.
Except maybe better, because when I say that this thing tears through the mid-course, I mean, I was expecting at least a little on our way through, but no, we ripped through it straight down that big drop into camelback after camelback.
And we haven't even talked about the pre-lift section.
And a highlight of the ride, honestly, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you first drop down a straight drop, you rise up, and then drop down a curving drop into the ravine. And that drop was quite a bit bigger than I was expecting. I mean, like, larger than an average-sized family coaster.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It looks like this is where they have the entertainment set up for the spring celebration, and I was told that the best place to view fireworks is right in front of the carousel, so we will head back here around 7:30 for some fireworks.
El agua avanzó para proteger su hogar eterno. El fuego se alzó buscando un lugar al cual pertenecer. Empujaron, jalaron, se midieron fuerza contra fuerza.
All right, next we are headed to the Joker, which is a Gerstlauer spinning coaster, and Kieran loves spinning coasters.
Generally, my rule is nothing that spins or swings, but the spinning doesn't look too bad on this. So
And we need the credit. So this is actually a cloned model. Interestingly, it is the mirror image of the Gerstlauer bobsled coaster layout, except with spinning cars. This particular one was actually moved here from Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in California in 2013. And I believe there's only one other exact clone of this, which is at Bon Bon Land in Denmark, which I was supposed to go to with Theme Park Review, but flight delays. Well, that's creepy.
Dizzying. That is a pretty good entrance to a Wild House.
Absolutely. Watch out for the fall! Whoa! Okay, so did not see that coming. Whoa! Watch your step, folks. It keeps on going.
This could not happen in America.
What's gonna happen next?
What the heck is this? Just big balls. Everything is designed to make you fall over, which is kind of wild.
Did you not sign the waiver on the way in?
Wow, that was really cool. Actually, so unexpected. I thought it was just going to be that spinning tunnel at the beginning, but all of those funhouse things are really fun.
I guess that's why they call it a fun house. You ready to spin?
Hopefully not too much, but yeah. I hope we spin a lot.
We've got a continuous loading station here, so good for capacity. All right, what'd you think?
I actually had a really great time on that. There was a lot of spinning, which was probably like at my limit for the amount of spinning that I can possibly handle, but I had a lot of fun.
The perfect amount of spinning, personally. There's a really fun moment on that ride where you drop off the mid-course, you're dropping to the left and then quickly transition to the right around this quick low to the ground turn. Our car was us on one side and then probably like a 60-pound 11-year-old girl on the other side. So we were spinning like a top, and wow, that was a blast. Then at the very end of the ride, you drop into a tunnel, which I think is called the Tunnel of Fear.
Sure.
Inside the Tunnel of Fear is my favorite moment on the ride, because it's a, spoiler alert, a fun airtime hill in the dark. So we were spinning as we were getting airtime, and it was dark.
Yeah, it was a thrilling time, and that combined with the queue, I think this is a really, really good attraction.
Totally, 100% worth doing.
So as part of the spring festival that's happening at the moment, we have a tasting card, and I needed something to eat. It's been a while since we've eaten, and so I found the closest place, and it was this little bakery, and the options were 3 different types of donuts. So I went with this Dona Primavera, which I think is like spring donuts with a little flower on it. Okay, next up we are riding one of my most anticipated coasters of the day, because I love an RMC. It's gonna be Medusa.
Medusa Steel Coaster, here we go!
So we've entered a new themed area of the park called Pueblo Vaquero. I think I'm saying that right. It is essentially their like American Old West, because every theme park has got to have an American Old West section, right? And like the rest of the park, it's very well themed. And especially at this time of day when the sun is getting a little low and the light is coming through the trees, it's really got a great atmosphere in here.
So Medusa was actually built in 2000 as a Custom Coasters International wooden coaster, just like Ghost Rider. But in 2014, it was redone by Rocky Mountain Coasters, or RMC for short. And interestingly, it was RMC's third conversion. And most of the RMC conversions, they add height to the lift hill, length to the track. Well, Medusa Steel Coaster is actually a little shorter than the original and a little less lengthy than the original. But it apparently makes really great use of the terrain, and the layout, in my opinion, looks really fantastic. So I'm really, really excited to try this out. It's been on my bucket list for a long time.
Ooh, pretty great start to this queue. Spooky. Hello, good sir.
I don't really know what stuffed cow heads have to do with a Greek goddess monster, but excited to find out.
Gotta make the theme work somehow. Whoa, oh my gosh, okay. I literally nearly just fell over as we were entering this room. That's crazy. Okay. Wow, filming and trying to move through this is crazy.
Oh my gosh, this reminds me of the mystery spot.
Oh my gosh.
In San Jose, California.
It really does.
Whoa.
I'm literally holding on for dear life for trying to get through this queue. This is crazy. This is one of the best queues I've ever been in. Like, wow. Only in Mexico could you do this?
Forget Disney. Come to Six Flags Mexico.
Oh, wow. I feel a little sick and I haven't even got on the ride.
I've been turned to stone.
Not even kidding. I'm still recovering from the queue. So we just got off Medusa. Daniel, what do you think?
RMC does it again. What else can I say? Gosh, I absolutely loved it. I feel like this is the forgotten RMC because, I mean, it has the original barrel roll drop, and then it goes into this terrain layout that is just filled with these large drops, multiple heartline rolls, and then it takes you back into the woods for like a terrain experience. I just thought that was awesome.
I have to agree wholeheartedly. I've never met an RMC I did not like, and the tradition stands. I actually did not know how the ride was going to begin, so once we got up the lift hill and then went into that barrel roll instead of your traditional drop, it was mind-blowing. Really so cool. What a great way to start a ride.
Another thing that's really cool about it is that it feels like all of the track is like stacked on top of itself. So throughout the ride, you really don't know where you're going to go next because you're just surrounded by track coming at you in all directions.
Definitely. That section down the back when you're flying through the woods is really cool, and I just know when we get back here later tonight it's going to be that much better in the dark.
I cannot wait to do this at night. I feel like with the newer RMCs, the layouts are a collection of large distinct elements. This has more of a flow throughout the whole layout. This is missing the signature RMC stall, but it does have a collection of barrel rolls that are hidden in the structure, so you don't see them coming, and the last one is taken quite slowly, so you do still get that hang time moment, which is quite different than the whippy sensation you get coming down this barrel roll drop. When it comes to how would I compare this to other RMCs, Well, again, this is a true bucket list ride for me and has been for a long time. So, especially when you have pent-up anticipation, I try not to judge any ride based on the very first experience I have with it. With that said, based on this first ride, I would probably rank it in the mid-tier of RMCs, above Wicked Cyclone and Storm Chaser, but obviously below Steel Vengeance, Wildcat's Revenge, Iron Gwazi, but I think it definitely holds its own, and again, because of the terrain element and being surrounded by foliage, I cannot wait to see how this thing transforms at night. Okay, so part of the spring celebration is the parade, and here it is. Hey! Do you think I can get that wrap for my car?
Here in the Hollywood section of the park, they have a flat ride that is themed to the car and the jukebox and the American diner experience. And there goes Daniel. But if you recall, not one for spinning rides. Okay, Daniel, how was that ride?
All right, well, I absolutely love these flats. There's one of these rock and rolls at Liseberg, and I probably ride that about 5 times a visit when I'm there. So fun to see another one here. I will say, I believe this one is like a classic Schwarzkopf flat ride, whereas the one in Liseberg is a little newer by a different manufacturer. It might be Gerslauer, but that could be completely wrong. Someone in the comments, please tell me. All that to say is I had so much fun, even though this one's a little bit more tame, but I'm ready to rock and roll all night long now.
So we've been talking up how beautiful Six Flags Mexico is, and we've got to this area of the park which is a little more barren, but it is themed after LA, so I guess that tracks. Now we're about to ride Speedway Stunt Coaster, the new Vekoma family boomerang. So Speedway Stunt Coaster opened just a few months ago, so it's the newest ride here in the park, and I think it has some really good theming actually. It's themed to like a race car event that's being filmed in Hollywood. Around the coaster there's lots of set pieces like cameras and boxes and different pieces of filming equipment, and they've even got the color scheme on the building correct, like it's like Warner Brothers or something. It looks really good. Around the edges of the track they've even painted the concrete walls like a bright green as if it's going to be green screen, and under the coaster track they've even themed the ground so it looks like a raceway track.
You know, who needs a Vekoma tilt coaster when you can have a Vekoma family boomerang? But in all seriousness, I have now ridden one of these exact models in Sweden, in China, in Cincinnati, and now in Mexico. And honestly, it's such a great family attraction. They are butter smooth. The trains are so comfortable. They've done such a great job with the presentation of this as well. Obviously, they have quite a few thrilling attractions around, so nice to add something for the family. And fingers crossed, that next tilt coaster is on its way. So yes, here we are in Hollywood, and it does feel pretty authentically like the beautiful concrete jungle of Hollywood. With that said, the kinetic energy around this section of the park is amazing. You've got the Speedway stunt coaster right here. I see Batman the Ride running right behind us. Superman is about to go down the lift. We've got Crazanity, not to be confused with Six Flags Magic Mountain's Crazanity. Oh, and the Star Flyer. There's a lot going on. All right, we're gonna try one of the special spring festival items here at Papa Kahuna. Kieran has selected an item for us. Kieran, what have you got?
Well, we have got chicken wings, and I believe they are in a mezcal sauce, which is pretty interesting. I've only really heard of mezcal in an alcoholic drink, so...
And?
Definitely tastes like mezcal.
Hey, slow down now. We've got to drive home. Just kidding, we Ubered. Now, granted, I'm a mezcal fan, but it's a little spicy, but nice, lightly sweet, just a teensy bit smoky. Makes me want a Paloma. Dr. Sam, do you think you could fix what's wrong with Kieran?
Well, first of all, it's Dr. Simi.
Oh.
And maybe.
Look at these cute safari Jeep trains. Looks like we get the front row, or the second row.
We just rode Tsunami with Dr. Simi, and wow, that thing has got a bit of a bite to it. For a kids coaster, that actually had some pretty decent laterals. They made us ride one to a row, and so I was really gripping onto that bar as I was sliding along the bench. It ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is a coaster that I had not done any research into prior to getting on it, and you really can't see much of it from the midway. So I went in expecting a smaller family/kiddie coaster, but it turns out that it's one of the large Zero Tivoli models. And it's one of, if not the best themed one that I've ever seen. You're diving under and through caves and through a jungle. It was really quite a blast.
Mr. Simi, Dr. Simi, needs to stick to wearing clothes from his own culture.
Baila? Is that how you say it?
Bailar!
All right, Daniel, we've been avoiding it all day, but it is officially time to ride the Vekoma Boomerang.
Okay, but what Kieran did not say is that he is not riding this boomerang. He is leaving me to my lonesome. And unfortunately, I am a big fat credit so I'm gonna do it.
I've ridden one Vekoma Boomerang and I'm set for life. One and done. So,
+1, baby. In all seriousness, actually, they did get the new Vekoma trains that have the vest restraints. So no headbanging, which that's good. But if every Vekoma boomerang disappeared off the face of the earth tomorrow, you would not hear me complaining.
part of the Spring Festival, there's a nighttime spectacular, and there's meant to be fireworks and drones. Have you ever heard of a drone show at a Six Flags, Daniel?
Absolutely not. Unless you count Kings Island, but that doesn't count. And unless you're talking about Six Flags Qiddiya, but that also doesn't count.
Yeah.
At a normal Six Flags park, absolutely not.
absolutely incredible. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, outside of Universal and Disney, that was probably the best show I have ever seen at a theme park. It really had it all. And when I say it had it all, like it had it all. There were fireworks, there were drones, there was live singers, there was tightrope performers, there was dancers, there was, I don't know, everything.
The production value was just insane. It made me want to learn to dance because they kept doing this thing, and I was like, how are they moving like that? Which I know sounds like the simplest part of it all, but yeah, sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference.
Yeah, it was like being at some sort of crazy EDM light show. Like, wow, very, very impressive. Six Flags America, you need to step up your game. Can you imagine seeing something like that at Six Flags Magic Mountain?
Well, Six Flags America is closed permanently, but
well, you know what I mean.
Well, you guys are not gonna believe this, but Kieran has abandoned me as I go to get the credits for Batman the Ride, which is a Vekoma SLC, and Wonder Woman, which is an SNS 40 free spin. Here I go to get my credits. I bet they're gonna be a blast. Well, unfortunately, Wonder Woman was down for mechanical reasons, so I am making my way over to Batman the Ride. I actually grew up with Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom as my home park, home to the infamous T2, which was the prototype SLC, or Vekoma suspended looping coaster. And I've ridden El Condor in Wallaby Holland, which is the other prototype. And I'd like to say Vekoma really learned through the years. They progressed with this model and they got better and better as they made more installations. But if I said that, that would be a lie. With all that said, +1, let's head back for some night rides on Medusa and Superman. All right, the time has come. My most anticipated moment of the day, honestly.
Mine too, definitely. Night ride on Medusa.
Medusa steel coaster through the woods in the dark. Here we go!
Okay, so we just got off 2 back-to-back night rides on Medusa, and it was incredible. Woo! Daniel, what did you think?
Oh my gosh. That just shot way up in my rankings, which earlier I said that I wasn't going to do, but this totally blew me away. We already said that this is a terrain coaster, and at night you really feel that. I had forgotten about midway through the ride, you pull up into a bank turn and then straighten out and then drop down to ground level through the structure for a really fun head chopper effect. And from there on out, it's just craziness. Earlier, this totally escaped me, but it really reminds me of Outlaw Run. I think that that's a pretty good comparison to this. Outlaw Run might be, it's a little shorter, but probably slightly better paced, but the way that you dive into the darkness, into that structure, and then suddenly you're whipping around in the dark, oh wow, I loved it so much.
Me too. I was just smiling ear to ear the entire time. It is a smile machine. So the park closes in 15 minutes, which means we've got time for one last ride, and of course, it's going to be a night ride on Superman.
Like a bookend, baby.
The punters are flooding in for their one last chance to ride something tonight.
That must be a sign that we're doing something right.
Unfortunately, our double ride on Medusa did come at the expense of us getting to ride the Dark Knight indoor coaster, but I think it was probably worth it, right?
Well, here's the thing. I love a roller coaster in a box. Balder at Liseberg. If you put that coaster in a box, in my opinion, it would be the best coaster in the world. So I'm sad that we're missing it, but I've done the 2 other ones and we'll be back. Well, it is hard to beat dropping 205 feet into a tunnel in the dark at night, other than being surrounded by the lights of Mexico City.
Yeah, the lights of the city at the top of that lift hill, just spectacular.
In general, I thought that was a great ride. I love the Morgan trains, as I said before. We sat in the very back of the train. I had quite a bit of room under my lap bar.
Daniel was enjoying that airtime. Meanwhile, I don't know, the worker had a vendetta against me. She really stapled me in there nice and good.
She just thought you wanted to be extra safe for that last night ride.
Guess so.
I will say, the very end of the ride, I wish that there was one more pop of airtime because you come out of the Camelback / Bunny Hill ejector finale into this fun turn, but then the turn ends and you enter the brakes.
So a little group of tweens just came up to us and asked if they could take a photo with Daniel. They said he was very handsome. And for me, well, they asked me to take the photo.
Unfortunately, per usual, all the merch at this Six Flags is like the merch at most other Six Flags, excluding the Legacy Cedar Fair parks, where it's mostly DC and Looney Tunes. And don't get me wrong, I love some superheroes, I love some cartoons, but when I have traveled specifically to come to Six Flags Mexico, please Six Flags, if you're listening, I will buy Six Flags Mexico branded merchandise. And everyone watching this video who comes to visit the park will too. Just something to keep in mind. And with that, our day and first ever visit to Six Flags Mexico comes to a close. Kieran, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing that just strikes me is just how beautiful this park is. From all the trees, all the brightly colored buildings, it just really pops and it looks fantastic.
The flowers, the landscaping, the atmosphere is just really alive.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, other than Six Flags Fiesta Texas, when is the last time you said that about a US Six Flags park?
Yeah, they really got to step their game up because this is what they're doing in Mexico, like incredible. The entertainment happening here tonight was just unbelievable. That big spectacular was really just blew me away. I've never seen anything like that.
And that doesn't count the parade that we saw earlier in the day. And then unfortunately, we didn't have time to see more of the live shows, but there was like one going on in Polynesia, and I believe there are some theaters with shows as well.
Yeah, there's lots to do next visit.
Exactly. And with that said, we did only get to 7, well, I got to 7 of the 10 credits. So that on its own is a reason to come back. Gosh, it is just so unfortunate the way Cedar Point snatched Siren's Curse away from this place, because it really could have filled out the lineup so well.
Yeah, definitely. To have a third world-class attraction like that would really make it something special. But the two they've got are fantastic. For me, I definitely put Medusa above Superman, but they're both fantastic.
And one thing we haven't touched on yet is that the operations here were fantastic today.
Absolutely.
It's a Friday, so I mean, it's technically a weekday going into the weekend, but every coaster was running the full amount of trains and or cars.
One thing that I want to add, which is kind of funny to say, is that the restrooms here are immaculately clean. Like, wow, I've never been to a theme park in America that has restrooms that look like this.
I think it's funny to end on a bathroom comment, but I think that kind of sums it up. I mean, the park is clean, it's so well taken care of, it has a great ride lineup with some room for improvement, and personally, I just can't wait to get back.
And now security are eyeing us. We are the last people here on the property, so we need to get out of here.
Absolutely. We are catching our 30-minute Uber back to Mexico City. If you find yourself in Mexico City, I cannot recommend making your way down here enough. And when you do, let us know what you think.
Definitely. And if you enjoyed watching today's video, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one, which is gonna be
tomorrow at Aslan Park in the middle of Mexico City. Cannot wait. We'll see you there.
See you there.
Hello, Mr. Six. Are you on the bus? Dun, 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 dun.